Hello and welcome to a new semester of online economics. Whether you're in a macroeconomics course, a microeconomics course, global economics course, history of the US economy, or a math econ course, all of my courses are set up the same way. They are all hosted on whatever your school's version of Moodle is. So this school I'm using Moodle 2.0. At this school I'm using Moodle 2.7. At another school we're using Moodle 2.1. So they're all relatively similar, but each one has slight differences. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a look through at how you navigate Moodle, and then more importantly, how you navigate where our class is actually hosted. So I've spent a lot of time developing our Moodle websites. However, we don't really use them for class. They're basically just, something to kind of give you a quick introduction the first week or couple weeks of school when you're kind of getting your feet wet. So this is one of my micro classes. You'll notice that I'm still Michelle Williams by a lot of districts. I have officially changed my name to Michelle Conley, but that is very slow to get processed. So a lot of times you'll see Michelle Williams, and then every now and then you'll see Michelle Conley. Either way, it's the same place. You're in the correct site. So when you log into our distance education, you will be directed to your class on Moodle. I'll give you time on your own to go through and read the course outline and my welcome note and stuff like that. But if you come down here, you'll see a user ID or a course ID for my lab, my econ lab, which is extremely important, and a URL link that will take you to how you register for our course. So the reason that we have to use an external site to host my econ lab is because with Moodle, we don't have the ability to do assignments that require graphing. Even if I wrote out multiple choice questions and you selected A, B, or C, and then I graded those by hand, you wouldn't be able to manipulate graphs, which we obviously need to be able to do in any course that requires any sort of economics. So this link right here will take us to our third-party site. So go ahead and click on that link when you're going through it, and it will walk you through the registration process. And it's really easy. You can take a little tour. It tells you what you will need to begin. You need to have an access code or a credit card. Now the access code comes with your book. So when you buy your book at the bookstore, it comes with 3 components: the textbook, the workbook, and an access code. That access code is worth $35, so don't lose it. Or maybe it's worth $45 this year, I don't know. Textbook prices, unfortunately, always seem to be going up. I apologize for the ridiculous price of textbooks. I wish that they were either free or a little bit more affordable. But remember, there's usually help paying for textbooks if you can qualify, and about 50% of our students do qualify for some sort of financial aid. Okay, so you need the access code that comes with your book, or you need a credit card. And you can go ahead and watch this tour on how to do it. But I'm just going to jump ahead to the website address that's pearsonmylabandmastering.com. That's pearsonmylabandmastering.com. So this word right here, Pearson, followed by my lab, and then A&D mastering.com, and it'll bring you to this website right here. So you're going to come over here, and where it says register, you're going to register as a student, okay? Do you have these things? An email address. Please use the email address that you check. I will probably email you only about 5 times a semester, but it might be for things like, hey, I've decided that you don't have to do this assignment. You can skip it. If you don't get that email, you won't know that you could have skipped it. It'll also be an email when I post grades so that you can go and check and make sure that we've recorded all of the work that you've submitted. Technology definitely has its perks, and sometimes the downside of using technology is that you don't submit anything in hand to me, and if you had a submission problem, if your internet went offline for even a second while you were submitting something, it might have gotten lost in the system. Now I can recover that, but I need to know to go in to recover that. And the only way I'm going to know to go in is if you check the gradebook and say, hey, I'm missing a score for this assignment, or I'm missing a score for this exam. So you need an email address, one that you check, a course ID, and an access code or credit card. Now that course ID is the code that's written right here. In this example, it's Williams 92694. In this class, it is Williams 33373. So each ID is specific to a course. So once we have these things, we say, okay, register now. And the first thing that it's going to ask you to do is going to be to input that course. So as soon as we input that course, it will, let me see, I can try one. This is actually for a class that just ended, but it'll still show you how to walk through the system. Okay, so it says that that one's over. So let me grab a current one. All right, so a current course that I'm teaching, let's say that we grab this course. And this course is going to look a little bit different since I set them all to look up. I set them all up to look slightly different. But this one is Williams 30908. Okay, so you'll click continue, and it'll ask you, do you already have a Pearson account, or do you need to create a new one? And then it'll tell you the name of the course over here. So this is a hybrid course, a microeconomics hybrid course. Not your course. If you entered the wrong one, you can go back and enter a different one. So if you don't have a Pearson account, you need to create one. If you have an old one, I would suggest creating a new one just so that you can use an up-to-date email address. If you do have an old one, please check the email address and make sure it's current, because I cannot stress enough that you don't want to miss any of the emails that I send out. Okay, so you can go through the steps of creating an account. Username, password, re-enter password, first name, security question, and accept the license agreement. Now, once you do that, you will see a screen that looks like this, and it will take you, and you probably will only have one course up here instead of all these additional courses that I have. And then you just click on the course that you're in. If you're in one of my international courses, you just click on the course that you're in. These courses up here are going to look slightly different than these courses down here because the template has just changed. But here's a look at one of the courses that I'm using this semester. Now, everything that I see is very different than what you see. When you come into the course, you will be at the course home. Now, I want to point out a couple things here. The course home is great, except for sometimes it's a little overwhelming. So anytime that you see something like this, it means that there are multiple assignments that are going to be open. So I just randomly picked Monday, August 17th to open these assignments. Usually I'll open them a little bit before the course is set up, just so that I can play around with everything. And then we don't have any more assignments opening in this time period, but all of those assignments come due on the same day, which is the night before the first exam. So as we get closer, it'll start to tell you, hey, you have upcoming assignments. You have upcoming assignments down here. Right now there are no upcoming assignments because these aren't due for quite a while. Okay, so this is your home page. Any announcements that I have, and there will always be announcements. The announcements run Monday to Monday, so I guess Monday till Sunday. I post a new announcement every Monday morning, and then on Sunday the old announcement comes down, and then I'll post a new one on Monday morning. Please be sure to keep up with the announcements. Now, you can find the announcements by going to Chapter Outlines and Announcements. Yours won't look like this. There will actually be an announcement there because when you log in, classes will have already started. The first thing that you want to do is run a browser check. Your browser check will make sure that everything is up to date, that your PDFs are visible, that you can see if it says see spot run and it's supposed to be in a box, that all those words will stay in that box for you, and they won't bleed over. So you'll be able to see the questions and be able to answer the problems. Here are your PowerPoint presentations. For each chapter, there's a lecture that goes along with it. Your homework, you can click right here on homework. There will be some sample tests and quizzes, but those won't pop up until later in the semester. A multiple choice quiz will open right here, as will all of your multiple choice portions of your exams. They will open right there. A big thing that you'll want to spend a lot of time using is the graphing tool. Okay, down here we have something called the graphing tool. Graphing directions are right above it, and it walks you through how to create a graph. These are, this is a perfect example of a very simple economic graph that we will be producing many, many times in the class. So you'll want to get very good at using the graphing tool. So I'll open the graphing tool. We're going to use what's called the grapher to create any graphs. If the grapher does not appear and you haven't already run the browser check, here's another chance that you can do it. So this is the graphing tool. Obviously, we can use the tool to create straight lines. We can change the color of those lines by highlighting it and selecting the color tool. We can add text to our lines. We can call this, a demand curve. We can change the color of our text, and then we can move our text down. We can move our text down here so that we can call that the demand curve, or we can move it over here, wherever we want to put it. We can also select anything that we've already made and simply click the X, or reset the entire graph. We can use a 3-point curve to do some production possibility frontier work. We can use a 4-point curve if we're doing any sort of time series data. All these things can be labeled. We can do shapes. If we need to draw a pentagon, we can do all sorts of different things. We can rotate them. We can elongate things after we're done. There's a lot of things that you can do with this graphing tool. It's absolutely great. And then you can take this graphing tool and you can save it onto your desktop. You have different ways of editing it. You can rename the y-axis, rename the x-axis, and also change the settings. Playing around with what's on the two axes is something that's very time-consuming and very difficult. So I would encourage you guys to just kind of ignore those unless you're going up in equal increments. So it's very easy to change this from 10 to 100 and this one from 10 to 100. But if you change this 100 and you leave this 10, your graph will be extremely high this way and very short this way. So you can play along with that. But one of the things that I do, if I'm taking an exam and I'm in a hurry, I might just rename this. If the price is supposed to be $15, I might just rename this $15 where I need it to be instead of going through and changing that. And if you do that, that's fine. I'll ignore this graph, or I'll ignore these tick marks on the side. Okay, so all of this is really easy. If you get into a time crunch on an exam and you don't have time to save your graphs and properly upload them, you could always take a screenshot and use this in your exam. The only problem with that is if you don't have it saved, if you need to reuse that graph, you have to recreate it. If you're saving them and using them and storing them on your desktop, if you name them well, you can find them later and stick them back into an exam, or even use them for a second exam if they're applicable. But if you're taking screenshots, that's obviously not going to work out very well unless you're saving those very carefully too. Okay, let's go back to our class. The syllabus, the class schedule, all of this stuff might look slightly different since I'm still updating it. PowerPoint presentations, graphing practice problems. These are for you to practice. They have different supply and demand questions, different production possibility frontier questions, quizzes and exams. Some of this stuff is going to change as I keep working through it. But this kind of gives you a good idea of an overview. So you'll be spending a lot of time in here. This is where all of the homework is. Whenever you're ready to do a homework, just simply click on the homework tab, and then it will, actually you can access it from a different way. So if we're going to go, maybe I only set up the micro homework so far today. Yeah, I guess I only set up the micro homework, but when your homework is available, you can click on this homework. Oh, I'm sorry, no, what it is that it doesn't start until the semester starts. But once it's available, you can select the homework that you want to do, and it just takes you to a basic multiple choice homework assignment. Okay, I really hope you guys enjoy this semester. Online classes are extremely different. Each one is made, slightly different. Even mine are slightly different from one to the next. Even another professor that's using Moodle, their class will be set up extremely different than my classes. So there's a lot in the beginning. We go very slow, and that you just kind of need to research and look around and spend some time on the course. Online classes are also very difficult. It's hard to remember to schedule those 3 to 6 hours every week to sit down and just read the chapter and kind of teach yourself some of these things. So please utilize the resources available. Use me, use the Learning Center, use the College Tutor, watch Khan Academy videos, watch anything that I post online. Definitely, as much as you can, use outsourced resources, and I'm an outside resource too, but use as many resources as you can to try and strengthen your success in this class. These classes have extremely high drop rates because people usually get a little bit behind, and then it's very hard to catch up. But I truly want you guys all to succeed, so please reach out to me. Let me know if there's something you're not understanding. Let me know if we can set up some time to work things out. I don't have on-campus office hours for online classes, but I've been doing this for a really long time. I started teaching online in 2006, so I can definitely answer questions through online media and emails. If you have a question, most likely I've answered that question for somebody else before. So please email me and reach out to me and let me help you be successful in this course. I hope you guys have a fantastic semester, and I hope to hear from all of you guys online.